This morning, our speakers will start off with Ventura County Fire Department Fire Chief Mark Lorenzen. He'll give an immediate update. I know the pressing news is the incident going on at this time, so we'll address those two incidents at this time right now to get that out of the way for you guys. Chief.
Good morning, Mark Lorenzen, Fire Chief, Ventura County Fire Department. Just an update. Within the last hour, we had two brand new starts, and obviously it just hits home on the fact that we are still in significant fire weather, and the existing fire is not our only concern. The first fire started just at approximately 10 o'clock in the area of Lynn Road. It's approximately 15 acres. There are structures threatened. Fortunately for us, we had an incredibly robust response with our engines that were in our local stations and engines that came from the Woolsey fire. So we believe we're going to have containment on that in relative short order. The second start came about 5 minutes later. Again, a brand new start in the area of Rocky Peak off of the 118. We are in the process of closing the 118, both east and westbound. That fire started in the area of Corriganville, just south of the 118. Currently, the size is approximately 20 acres. We have a full response from LA City, LA County, and Ventura County responding there. We have adequate resources. We do expect some threat to structures in the area of Corriganville and Smith Road, and there are evacuations in the Lake Manor and Box Canyon areas. So again, that's probably our fire with the most potential right now. That's basically the current status on both those fires. I'll answer some questions a little bit later. Thank you.
Second, I'd like to introduce LA County Sheriff's Department Eric Buschow.
Good morning. I'm Sergeant Eric Buschow with the Ventura County Sheriff's Office. We appreciate the cooperation of everyone in the community during this difficult time. For those of you in the Rocky Peak area, please stay tuned to local media. Information on evacuations will go out through our VC alert system, and people can always check vcemergency.com for the latest information on evacuations and road closures in Ventura County. Obviously, conditions are changing rapidly. We do have some good news. We have lifted evacuations for areas here in Thousand Oaks, Oak Park, Newberry Park. All that information, again, is on the website, vcemergency.com. The communities of Bell Canyon and everything south of Potrero Road going down to PCH, those areas are still under mandatory evacuation, so we ask that people be patient and cooperate with our law enforcement and firefighting personnel while we're out there patrolling the area. We have approximately 100 personnel dedicated to this incident today to patrol areas of Ventura County and keep people safe. For those who are in communities where evacuations have been lifted, when you're returning home, we just ask that you be very careful, as there may still be hazards in some of those neighborhoods. Thank you.
Los Angeles Police Department Captain Paul Vernon.
Good morning. First to the residents of West Hills, which is the part of the LA City that's been evacuated. Unfortunately, we have not opened that up yet, but we're looking at that minute by minute to when we can. The police department, Chief Moore, has dedicated not only the officers that are maintaining controls of the entry there, but an additional extra 50 officers to help some residents go into their homes and retrieve things that they might need during the day. But we will be looking, again, hour by hour when we can open that up for you. And just to provide a little bit of context for you, Saturday morning I was standing at the corner of Valley Circle and Bell Canyon with a lot of the residents that lived in the area, and they all wanted to go back in. Saturday morning, after that bad Friday night, seemed like everything, the worst was over. It would have been a good idea to go on back home. But as you can see from the wisdom and the experience of the firefighters, they knew better than to open that, because the wind came back and the fire came back with a vengeance later that day, and it would have caused a much bigger problem having that. So time, that is giving yourself time to be able to get away, from the fire, and patience, and that is the patience of going back when it's safe, are two things that we can all learn from in this experience. Thank you.
Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, John Benedict.
Good morning. My name is Chief John Benedict, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. I just want to let everybody know that we continue to express our gratitude for the support and the patience that's everyone's shown during this fire event. It's been stressful for everybody. We understand that, and we share for your concern for the safety of your families, your pets, and those folks that have been just displaced by this tragic event. Although we appreciate your patience and cooperation, please know and understand that first responders right now there are working tirelessly to connect you back with your property, to your pets, and reunite you with your families. Collectively, the incident management team has determined there remains the need to have all residents out of the fire area and remain evacuated safely. We're happy to announce we did last night that we lifted some portions of Agora Hills and Westlake Village. That would be north of the 101 freeway. South of the 101 freeway is still a closure and is evacuated. Just want to make sure that you know that. For information regarding those closures, you can go to our website at lacounty.gov/Woolsey fire. As we all know, this has been a wind-driven event, and the winds are here right now, and they're anticipated to stay until Tuesday. We remain in red flag warnings, and we're concerned for the safety of the residents due to those hazards. When you do commute with your vehicles in and around the area that you're allowed to, please be aware of any hazards that might be out on the road. We don't want anybody to get hurt or get injured during this event. As far as our staffing levels with the LA County Sheriff's Department, we went to what we call a 12 and 12, which means that we're on 12-hour shifts and then off 12-hour shifts. This gives us the opportunity to deploy as many officers as we possibly can in order to assist you during this tragic event. Right now, we have over 600 LASD uniformed personnel out in the fire area. They're doing property security, and they're also doing road closures as well. We also want to thank our participating agencies during our mutual aid. That includes the LAPD and other law enforcement agencies that have come out to assist us during this crisis as well. We want to thank everyone who has worked the long hours and little rest to ensure the citizens and the property of the affected communities are safe. We also want to let you know that we're working in partnership with Animal Control. We still have some animals that are in need of rescue, and so Animal Control is working diligently to get those animals still out of the area, so please cooperate with that. Animal Control and some of their volunteers are moving large trailers, still trying to get some of those animals back up to areas that they can be housed and safely fed. I still believe that we have Pierce and Handsome Dam open, but I believe that they're full. So the AV Fairgrounds is a place where you can take your animals. Please stay vigilant. If you are in a possible fire area, have items ready in the event that you need to evacuate, and follow instructions from first responders. For emergencies, please remember to dial 911, and for any information, dial 211. Although evacuation orders have been lifted for certain areas of Ventura County, Los Angeles County officials have lifted Agora Hills and Westlake Village, as I said before, and are warning residents affected by the Woolsey wildfire not to return to their homes unless we lift those evacuation orders. Those evacuation places have not been rendered safe, or safe even for first responders in some cases. So we're trying to get up there in order to get those folks out. Remember that we have evacuation still in effect for the city of Calabasas, and services and schools are still closed until those evacuations are going to be lifted. Portions of Montanido and Topanga, Westlake Village, and Hidden Hills. Thank you.
California Highway Patrol, Lieutenant Kevin Kirkler.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Kirker. I'm the acting commander out of the West Valley CHP office. And this incident is taking place right in our backyard. So we take this personal. California Highway Patrol is working around the clock in partnership with our allied agencies to mitigate this incident. As you heard from the fire chief earlier, the 118 has been shut down as of right now for the fire that just started, eastbound and westbound, until we get some stabilization there and get more of a grip on what's going on. The 101, I am happy to say we were able to get that open last night. However, the northbound and southbound off-ramps of Valley Circle, Parkway Calabasas, Las Virgenes Road, Lost Hills Road, and Liberty Canyon are closed, just the off-ramps. All the on-ramps through the initial closure are open. Please be mindful that safety is paramount. We still have active fires. We still have support crews traveling up and down the freeway, fire equipment traveling up and down the freeway. Please be cognizant of that and yield to the right if they're rolling with their lights and sirens on, and just try to give them as much leeway as possible. The PCH closure is still in effect. Northbound PCH at Sunset and southbound in Ventura County at Las Posas, and that is in effect indefinitely. As you've already heard, we've started the repopulation process where we're allowing residents to go back to their homes. We had a town hall meeting last night, and that was very symbolic that emotions are running high. And we understand that, and we appreciate that, and we respect that. But what we ask is for you to take a deep breath and take a step back as you're going back into your homes and maintain safety as your main priority. Because our emotions can get in the way at times where we want to find out what the status of our home is, or our pets, or our property. And we may miss something, a down power line, a rock coming off a canyon wall that we don't see. Although our crews have already gone through there prior to opening, the region is still somewhat unstable and things can still happen. So please be very, very aware of your surroundings as you're going back into your homes. We also ask that your continued patience, the continued patience of all these road closures, of the fire equipment, of the displacement from your homes, your continued patience and understanding. Up to this point, the public has been phenomenal in supporting us and what we need to do to mitigate this crisis. We all face this crisis, and on behalf of the California Highway Patrol, we offer our deepest condolences. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you, and we ask from all agencies and from the public that your thoughts and prayers are with our first responders. They are out there selflessly, day in, day out, 24/7, trying to mitigate this crisis and these fires to get you safely back to your homes. And some of these first responders have been displaced from their homes as well, and they're still out there fighting the good fight for you. Thank you.
Los Angeles City Fire Department Deputy Chief Trevor Richmond.
Good morning. I'll be very brief. The Los Angeles Fire Department remains actively committed to the Woolsey Canyon fire. Presently, we have 6 fresh strikes teams, primarily on the eastern flank of this fire. I also was just informed that we'll be sending a first alarm brush assignment to the new start in Ventura County as part of our mutual threat zone agreement that we have with Ventura County Fire. The red flag parking restrictions are still in effect in the city of Los Angeles. For more information on the parking restrictions, please visit lafd.org/red flag. Thank you.
Cal Fire Chief Scott Jalbreth.
Good morning. We're going to continue to see these red flag conditions through Wednesday here in LA, Ventura, and Orange counties. And in San Diego, we're going to see an extreme red flag condition through Wednesday as well. Some good news for Northern California is that they should see a reduction of wind starting this afternoon, which will help them out a little bit dealing with those catastrophic fires. The state still has a heavy commitment to all the fires. Right now we have 127 engines committed statewide. That is inclusive of federal, state, and local resources. That doesn't include all the dozers and hand crews and aircraft that are involved. The state, under state-to-state mutual aid, has requested assistance from the surrounding states. We have 189 engines coming in to give us a hand. Most of them are here now, with 55 additional engines on top of that coming from the state of Texas. We are all on the ready with these wind conditions and ready for the next fires. With that, CAL FIRE has 19 air tankers, 13 air attack ships, 15 helicopters, 4 large air tankers, and 1 very large air tanker, all ready to assist existing fires and to be able to handle new starts. As you heard this morning, and as you can see, we've already had 2 starts within the last hour. That's going to, again, commit resources. I employ all citizens to do the very best you can to not start any new fires. It's the last thing any of us need right now. Thank you.
Los Angeles County Fire Department Fire Chief Daryl Osby.
Good morning, Daryl Osby, Fire Chief, Los Angeles County Fire Department. Once again, on behalf of our Honorable Supervisor Kuehl, who this fire is located, and also on behalf of the other Board of Supervisors who I've had an opportunity to talk to this morning, our thoughts and prayers go out to the citizens that have been impacted by this fire. An update for the Woolsey fire. Right now, our data shows that we're at 91,572 acres on this incident, and we have 20% containment. I know that on other press conferences there's been a lot of pressure to try to get a number of structures damaged or lost. Right now we have an estimate that we have 370 structures that have been lost on this fire right now. We still have our damage assessment crews out trying to make additional assessments in relation to structures damaged or lost. However, I want to emphasize, because I know there's been a lot of challenge and concern to our response, because we threw everything at this that we could from the surrounding departments. Although we've lost over 300 structures, we've estimated that there were 57,000 structures at risk that are still here. So I just want to place emphasis on that. We're still in a red flag weather right now. As mentioned earlier, we're expecting up to 40-mile-per-hour winds through Tuesday. Our primary focus right now for our firefighters on this incident is first life, then property protection, and then line containment. Right now we have 20% line containment on this fire. We're going to be working all day and all night to try to increase and reinforce that containment. In addition to that, as mentioned earlier, we're also working with our utilities, Southern California Edison, the gas company, the road department, to try to clear debris and make the community safe for repopulation when those determinations are made. But to our citizens, as mentioned earlier, we ask for your cooperation, because our number one objective as it relates to our perspective is the safety and welfare of our citizens. Finally, I would like just to once again thank our firefighters. We are getting reinforcements in as we stand here today for this press conference, but we've had some firefighters on the front line since Thursday, so that's 5 days. We're trying to rest them as we can, but some of our firefighters are getting tired, but they're still fully committed to the fire battle that we're in right now. And then additionally, I would like to thank the other members of my department in relation to our mechanics, our administrative staff, our dispatchers. Right now it's all hands on deck. And I think that sometimes it's easy to see the first responders out on this incident, but we sometimes don't recognize all the support that occurs behind the scenes. And in conclusion, to all of our firefighters, all of our first responders, and all of our citizens, be safe. Yes.
The big jump in number of homes or structures that are destroyed, is that more a product of a better counting taking place in the burn area, or was there actually a time when additional homes were destroyed?
Right now, the increase in numbers is based on better intel. We were scrambling throughout this incident, so all of our forces were allocated toward protecting life and property and trying to get containment. So we didn't have the ample personnel on scene at that time to count the structures damaged or lost. But since Saturday, we now have damage assessment teams on the incident, going throughout the incident. They're still counting. But right now, we're estimating 370 lost at this moment.
Chief, some of the information that was put out there, talking in terms of full containment by Thursday, is that an accurate assessment?
I can't speak to full containment by Thursday. I know it's going to take a while to get 100% containment, but there will be a point where we feel comfortable that we have knockdown on the fires, and working with our utilities and our law enforcement, that it'll be safe to let people to go back in. But as far as 100% containment, we'll be out here for the next week or two trying to mop this fire up.
And we see, obviously, as we're talking, these winds are making themselves quite evident. Are the firefighters helpless when the winds come up like this? Or tell me what the situation is when they face these strong winds.
We're at the most challenging part of our fire season for our firefighters. We've just left a hot, dry summer, and our fuels are at record lows as it relates to fuel moisture for dead-end live fuels. So these winds right now do create a complexity for our firefighters. There's no open flame fronts right now, as you can see in our fire, but there are a lot of hot spots, a lot of potential for embers to start additional structures on fire, and the possibility for those embers to go beyond our containment lines. So our firefighters are out there diligently working at full capacity to try to prevent that from occurring.
Chief, some Malibu residents have been very unhappy with the fact that Pepperdine was protected when they feel that their homes were not. Can you respond to that?
We've had a long-standing tactics and strategy in relation to Pepperdine, that fires in the past, because evacuations are very challenging for everybody in the region, as you've seen, that fires in the past, as it relates to Pepperdine University, that for people that cannot get out, we've asked for those students to shelter in place, and they did. I know that we were extremely challenged in that relation to the numbers of structures that were threatened in Malibu. And I will say that as it relates to the university, we met the objective by ensuring that all the lives were saved and that the campus is still there. And that as it relates to the other structures in Malibu and all the other surrounding cities and unincorporated areas, because this fire was probably estimatedly over 20 miles long and 14 miles wide. And I mentioned earlier with 57,000 structures. So we had all available firefighters doing all that they can to protect all the structures that they could. So unfortunately, we think that we've lost over 300 structures, and that number might increase, but I'm happy to say that we've saved over 50,000 structures.
Sir, right now we're showing our viewers fire right up to the 118 freeway. What message do you have for the public traveling, trying to get out of that area? There's some homes maybe below that freeway. What message can you tell the viewers seeing our live shot that which way to go, where not to travel, whatever you can tell?
Well, what I can say to our viewers is that we're still in red flag. These are extreme conditions. If there's a fire in your neighborhood, do not wait for an evacuation order. Leave. We've asked for our citizens to have identified evacuations routes done in advance of an incident, to have your valuables ready in advance of an evacuation. So if you live in a wind-prone area, in the vegetation areas, please do so in advance. I can't speak specifically to the fire behind us, but hopefully those citizens have advanced thoughts of how to evacuate, and I'm confident that we do have firefighters and law enforcement right there now assisting them with the evacuation orders.
Do you have any comment to President Trump's tweet saying that this
these fires are due to gross mismanagement?
I don't really want to politicize our efforts right now as it relates to me being in charge of a first responder. I can just tell you that we're in extreme climate change right now. We don't control the climate. We're doing all that we can to prevent incidents and mitigate incidents and save lives. I personally find that statement unsatisfactory, and it's very hurtful for all first responders that are putting their lives in the line to protect lives and property. And I will conclude my comments there.
Do you have any update on the 2 lives lost in the Woolsey fire? And if so, were they in an evacuated area? Could they have gotten out sooner? You know?
Right now, we still have 2 fatalities in the Woolsey fire. That's still being investigated by the Sheriff Department and the Coroner's Office, so we don't have any more information at this moment. Once it's available, it will be released. But what I can say, and I want to re-emphasize, is that I had an opportunity to speak to my peers from Northern California in the camp incident, and unfortunately, right now they have over 20 fatalities, and that number will probably rise significantly. And there's a lot of examples in that incident where people waited to evacuate at the last minute. So hopefully that's lessons learned for people here in this region, that there's a fire, leave immediately, do not wait for an evacuation order.
Chief, any update on the cause? And specifically, there's a report that there may have been a problem at an Edison substation right here where the fire started, about the time that it started. Any information you can share?
The cause of this incident is still under investigation, and once that becomes known, then we'll share that with the public.
I have a question. Some of our listeners, they said that when they were evacuated, they didn't receive those reverse 911 phone calls or any other alerts. Their concerns were, what if they never got any alerts from their neighbors or anyone else? Can you address any of those complications?
This was a very dynamic situation. We gave evacuations orders early through media and other means that we could, including firefighters and sheriffs and law enforcement going door to door. I am aware that citizens did not heed those evacuation orders. I can't tell you how many multiple 911 calls that we got at the last minute when our firefighters were trying to go in and protect structures that people were saying that they were trapped. At some given point, when we start losing power, cell sites are down, and a lot of people have cell sites and cell phones. So that's sometimes not the most appropriate way to receive information. The only thing I can say in the conclusion is this. If you live in these areas, I'm being repetitive, and you see a fire, evacuate early. Do not wait for an evacuation order, number 1. Number 2, in any major incident, there's always going to be lessons learned. I've been doing this for 35 years, and I can't say that there's ever been an incident where things have gone perfectly. But what I am proud to say, unfortunately, we've lost 2 lives, but I'm proud to say that tens of thousands, I believe that over 250,000 people were evacuated safely. And from that perspective, that was a positive. Well, once again, seeing no other questions, I really want to thank the media for the relationship as it pertains to sharing information in this incident, continuously educating our citizens, and keeping us all safe. So thank you very much.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank the veterans that are currently serving on not only our nation, but are currently serving on our fire lines. Unfortunately, at this time, we do not have time for elected officials to come up because of the dynamic situation with 2 new fire breaks. This will conclude our press conference for today. Stay tuned to any of the social media platforms as to when the next press conference is. We have PIOs available in the audience out here, and elected officials, you can stay here, and the media is here as well. Thank you, and be safe. Thank you. This is the only one we have scheduled for today, unless we have anything pressing, and we will definitely let you guys know. Thank you.
Can I just say something? Oh, this is broken. On everybody who's ever had.
Hey, this thing has gotten me through like 10 years. I know.
I still prefer your access, you know, in hot fire.
Right, that's right.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, I defended you. Two.
You defended me too. Oh, the Dodgers?
No. Someone got upset with you.